Hey everyone, and welcome to Stephanie's Star Wars Corner. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars Kanan graphic novel series, the first volume being The Last Padawan, and the second volume being First Blood. To start off with, it was really nice to read about Kanan, though I do know there is the book A New Dawn with Kanan and Hera, but I have not gotten to that one yet, hopefully soon, but it's just nice to read more about Kanan. He's always talking about his master and Rebels, so it's nice to be able to get to see that relationship between him and his master. And Kanan's master being Master Depa Billaba, and who I did not know was one of the Jedis you can see during like the Jedi Council scenes in the prequel films. She is there in the background for some of those scenes, which was cool to find out. I'm not familiar with all of the random Jedis who are running around in those scenes, so it was nice finding out that, you know, she was in the movies at some point. So Volume 1 actually starts off as a flashback, and it starts where Order 66 is being given. So Kanan, who I will call Caleb for the time being, because his name is Caleb Doom in the comics. This is before he becomes Kanan. Him and his master, they're just hanging out with their clone troopers. They just fought a battle, they won, now they're just hanging out around a campfire, chit-chatting, and, you know, having a good time. And then here comes Order 66. And then Caleb's master dies. I mean, that's no spoiler, we know that happens. And now Caleb is on the run. He's got nowhere to go. He's just in hiding. He's trying to learn how to survive. And you have to think he's still pretty much a kid. He's like probably preteen age. And, you know, he's lived in the Jedi Temple, I believe they said, for most of his life, practically since he was born. And so, you know, he's not got a real understanding of everything else out in the world. So now here he is, you know, having to fight for his life. And he's got these clone troopers that are looking for him. These clone troopers are ones that he was really good friends with. And so now it's devastating for him that he is being hunted down by these clones that he believed were his friends at one point. And while in hiding, Caleb becomes friends in a way with someone named Janus Casimir. He starts doing all these little missions with this guy and pretty much just staying in hiding the whole time. And then there's the present day going on with Kanan and the Ghost Crew, and they find out that they need to go to a planet called Kalar. Now Kalar is where everything happened, where Master Billaba was killed. So this is kind of haunting for Kanan, that he's got to go back to where, you know, kind of the beginning of the end started for him. That's pretty much Volume 1, you know, some other stuff goes on in there. And then getting into Volume 2, we go further back with the flashbacks. Now we see Caleb and how he becomes Master Billaba's apprentice. And in this we could find out that Caleb is one of the youngest Padawans to show up there. Kanan is still looking for his master. He still hasn't got one. He's you know, waiting and hoping for that perfect one to show up. And he accidentally comes across Billaba, and then some stuff goes on, some battles, and then she's like, "Hey, you want to be my apprentice?" And he's like, "Okay." That's how that goes down. Now we get to see them go on a couple of different missions together, and just see how their relationship forms and how much that they really truly care for each other as a master and an apprentice. So that's the plot of both of these volumes. Definitely one of the main reasons of wanting to read this, and why others should read this, is just to get the backstory of Kanan, to see, you know, how he met his master and how their relationship was. I mean, the present day story that's going on is good as well, But yeah, the main reason that I was mostly interested in this and that I enjoyed it was the flashbacks that occurred. You also just get to see how Kanan was, and you know, you also have to think that when all this happened, Kanan was still a child, pretty much. And knowing that he didn't get to train for long, you know, he didn't get to have that long of a relationship with his master. He didn't get to learn that much from her. And thinking about the Rebels TV series, how much growing Kanan had to do on his own. And then that explains in Rebels why Kanan was a little hesitant to train Ezra, because Kanan felt unqualified. Kanan, you know, didn't get to be a Jedi for that long. And so he doesn't seem like he's as qualified to train him. And that's why he was trying to find was Master Luminara. So the artwork was really good. I really enjoyed it. Really dark looking and definitely really different compared to the way the animation is in the Rebels series. In the comic, it's kind of funny because like even his master, she's really sexy looking compared to like the way she looked in the movie. No offense to the lady in the movie. But, you know, they really overdid her. In the movie, she seems like she's a bit older. And in this, in the comic, they have her seem a little more younger, and they have her all really hot looking and everything, which is funny. And then also, Hera's really different looking in the comic, which made me laugh because they have her drawn more sexy. They have her outfit looking a little tighter than what it is on the show. And then all of a sudden Kanan's in these really tiny black shorts, and it's just really hilarious for some reason because in the way the drawings are, he's like, just look at me. So I really like the drawings, really good like detail and shading, especially like on the faces. Then, you know, like they're by the fireside and has that really good glow, but shading. The drawings were really easy to follow, knew where to head and everything, and very clear. Really good dialogue. Only thing that would aggravate me was the amount of times that Caleb would get mad because somebody would refer to him as a kid, and he was constantly always like, don't call me kid, or he would answer back with something and then be like, and don't call me a kid. And it just drove me nuts because it's like, okay, Caleb, we get it, you're not a kid. Like, he would say it probably 10 times per volume. Now, like I said, I liked these graphic novels because of getting that Kanan backstory. The one thing that I didn't like was there were some characters, I didn't know who these characters were, and I didn't feel like they really served that great of a purpose. I don't know if they're maybe in some other comics or books or something like that, but I didn't find a need for some of these characters. But like if you omit them, then it's still just a good story to read. You can still follow along with it easily. I just find that some of these characters are not needed. There are some cameos from other characters. I mean, since the books do take place in the prequels, you know, you see Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Yoda, you see them for a couple panels. General Grievous does show up for quite a bit. He is part of Balaba's past, a little bit into her past. And then Finn Rao shows up, literally, for one little panel. They even kind of say that. They're like, oh, he was there, and then he was gone. And he really was. And then you even have the Grand Inquisitor show up for a page or two, which was just, oh hey, I wasn't expecting you to show up. So it's just some nice little cameos that you got to see in there. Though another downside for characters, on the planet Kalar, there was, you know, this whole species, and it was difficult to distinguish them. Because they do show up every now and then. They at least had like one little distinguishable thing, but like upon seeing them on the page before they would say a name, it'd be like, well, who's that? I know that he ran into them in the past, that Kanan ran into them in the past, but who are they again? Because there wasn't nothing that really distinguished them, like that was really heavy on distinguishing them. And so that was probably like my only complaint too, was I was getting all these characters from the planet of Kalar confused. Maybe that was just me. Maybe like if I reread it, I would, you know, feel more comfortable knowing who they were. But like I kind of was glancing through like the first volume again, and I was still kind of confused about, wait, now who were they? So overall, I did like the Kanan graphic novel series. It was nice getting to know more about Kanan and his master, what happened, how he survived on his own, what he was up to. Something I would really like to see in the future is more graphic novels about the Ghost crew, whether they take place in the past, the present, maybe they go a little more into the future, whatever. Or maybe even more books. I would really like to just see more of the Ghost crew in books or graphic novels. So let me know what you all thought of the Kanan graphic novel series. Just write your comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video.